also maybe wear a toupee, but I will be in love with you.
I love to see all of your beautiful, beautiful faces today. Look what a beautiful group of human beings we are. Seriously, look around. Look around. 8 weeks of obsessive immersion. For some of you, 16 weeks. For some of you, 24 weeks of obsessive immersion on speaking, public speaking, and leaning into your next level. Who's excited to spend the next 90 minutes integrating all your learnings? Because I know that some of you are like, yes, I'm so excited, Lori. And I also know this is the last week, the last real workshop before I'm going live. Ah. So before I'm going to share you exactly how that's going to work, so you have a very clear idea, so there's no confusion whether you're speaking or whether you're not yet speaking and you will speak in 5 weeks from now. You have an absolute clear idea of what's going to happen next week. And before we're going to dive in to the last integration for some of you and the next integration for some others, I first want to hear some wins, some epic, amazing breakthroughs from people within this community that they would love to share with one another. Who would love to start off? Before I'm gonna point some names. Actually, I will point some names. Katharina, what can we celebrate with you?
Okay, well, in terms of wins, I think the fact that I'm enrolled in the Public Speaking Academy, so this is definitely a very big win. I'm very happy, and it's eye-opening. I'm going through the last weeks, which I've been repeating and repeating, and it's learning. So it's a big learning curve for me. So, and very grateful for everybody. This is a beautiful community. So last week I was very touched with all the stories, and my aha moment was learning that from just one story, how we can connect with people and contribute to that transformation. So I'm really excited and looking forward to the next following weeks.
That's beautiful. So for you, a big win is just leaning in and saying, I am worth this. Because when we look at speaking, and I know some of you might feel super excited and some of you might not. Some of you might feel super overwhelmed and like, oh my God, it's coming so soon. And a lot of these negative thoughts have a lot to do with the expectations that you set for yourself, right? We talked about this yesterday in our momentum call or your bonus call, is that there are always 3 presentations, who remembers? The first one is the one you practiced. The version that you're working on right now, all of you. You're all working on your current best version. It's all stage number 1. All of it is stage number 1. Then the presentation, the second presentation that you always do, which some of you will do next week, some of you will do in 5 weeks, is the one you actually did. The one you actually did. And then the last one, can we agree that there will always be stuff that we feel like, oh my God, I could have done that so much better. Or with, now I share this, I thought this was really perfect, but it just didn't feel that it was landing. And the only place where you can go to level 3 is when we go through level 2. The only place where we're able to iterate is when we actually go out there and do it. So big, epic win, Carolina, by leaning in, by watching the courses, by re-looping all the trainings over and over and over again, right? That's absolutely amazing. Someone else, another win from the community. What about Patrice? What about you?
I was actually gonna unmute myself and then you picked on me. Yes, I'd say one of the win I will celebrate this week is potentially the doctor have a new argument or new hypothesis of what is bothering me. Since Sunday night, I've been following what this kind of advised me to, and then I feel a little better. So yeah, that's a new win. Hopefully the hypothesis works and I get to get rid of this thing. But until then, I celebrate today. I'm up and I'm smiling and I will be with you guys. So that's a win.
You're present, yeah. Isn't
Thank
this
you.
so beautiful? Like, no one has to share details right now. but who's going through some life stuff at the moment? Some fascinating external experience that are like, wow, crap, that's not how my optimal situation would be if I envisioned it. Show it again to Patrice and everybody else. Who's going through some fun life stuff right now? Almost everybody in this room. So when that's you, and what I love so much about how you frame this, Patrice, is, and if I would put it back on our path that we're on, the public speaking path, is what I'm hearing you say in different words is like, Lori, right now I'm in a story. I'm in one. And sometimes when you recognize you're in a story, this doesn't have to be, but when you recognize you're in a story is, I have a lot of feelings right now. And that can be a lot of positive, a lot of negative feelings, like whatever label we put on there, right? Or challenging feelings. It's like, I feel a lot right now. So most probably I'm in one. So knowing that I'm a storyteller, that I'm a public speaker, and I'm utilizing my own stories to now use this transformational fuel foundation for someone else to learn from, then what can I do in the now to already make that change so I'm able to share the story I want to share? And what I'm hearing you say, Patrice, is I'm going through some stuff right now. And the frame that I have is what I'm grateful for. The frame that I have is what opportunities I see. The frame that I have is whatever happens, I'm still showing up. And I'm not judging myself for the external conditions. And that, my friend, that's incredibly inspiring. Because people who are incredible speakers, they're not the most epic robotic human beings with all the perfect scenarios on the outside world. The best speakers went through the most craziest stuff, but decided that they will have that frame and then retell the story as transformation for others. And what they found, and what I can confirm from my own experience, is that when you share the stuff that was hard for you, and you share it from a place of an open heart where you know where other people will have help through, is going to help you to lower that emotion for yourself as well. Because when you see that other people are getting some sort of healing out of your suffering, it now is for a purpose. And what if we don't just do that with stuff that happened to us, and we retell the same script of our life the entire time, but we actually do that for the past, the present, and the future. So while we're living, we're actually recognizing what's going on. So now it's not happening to us, but it literally is happening for us because our story library is getting filled without us needing to have inspiration. Life just gives us stories now. We just need to have the skill, which you're all leaning into now, to recognize it. To recognize, oh wait, I'm in a story right now. Some family stuff is going on. Oh, a story. Some health stuff is going on. Oh, a story. Some, I don't know, animal stuff is going on. Oh, a story. So whatever that is for you, I hope you see this as an opportunity to now recognize, oh, my life is the story. My life is the movie. And the keynote is the trailer. It's the sizzle reel, so to speak. So how can you edit it in a way that you would love to? Because you have the footage that you actually enjoy sharing. Beautiful win. One more before we're starting. Luke?
Can I share something really quickly, Laura? Is that okay?
Yes.
So my win is that last night I did my first ever stand-up comedy routine. So this is a tough thing. Comedy is tough. And I think we all think we're funny, right? And then we all think we're funny in conversation until you've got to do it in front of an audience who don't know you and don't know your context and your nuances and all these things. So like every single one of you on this call, I had to know my script. I had to practice it. I had to rehearse it. I had to feel uncomfortable. I had to feel like I don't want to do it. I had to feel like, oh my God, we have 53 people coming and that's a lot. and what if I'm not funny, and what if it doesn't work, and what if I forget my lines, and what if I fluff it all up, and all of the same things. And it doesn't matter how many times I've stood up and spoken, and I've done this course, and I've done all my things in the Tony Robbins environment, all of those things were still very real for me. And the thing that allowed me to get to that, to put myself in that situation, is because when I was doing this course and I was sat exactly where you are, I did the uncomfortable work that made me do the practice, and the fear in me made me work hard at it. So I got a result. Could it have been better? Sure. Did it get better? Absolutely, when I kept working at it. So even now, when I've done all the work over and over again, I still had to do work for this, but I've learned a new skill and a new layer of confidence and a new way of feeling about myself. And the next challenge will be easier because of it. So it doesn't matter how good you get. It doesn't matter how far you come. But if you don't do this part right here today, for you, the uncomfortable practice and commitment, you'll never get to the next opportunity because it will seem too hard. So every challenge and every tough moment you have between now and your presentation is setting you up to be ready for the next one. And you'll keep growing and keep being even more proud of yourself. Because I can tell you, I'm proud of myself for what I did last night. And I had the doubts, and I felt $1 million when I walked off that stage. And it's behind me now, but I know the next thing will scare me just as much. And that is the beauty of life.
Yes. Amen. Amen. That's so good. That is so good. This is the safe place to practice feeling comfortable with the uncomfort that you will never get rid of. You just start to recognize what that feeling is within your body, and you start to create different labels around it, because it's not a negative thing. It's something that sets you up for success and lets you feel like $1 million walking off because you actually did it. Who's excited to actually do it? And thank you, Luke, for hyping up that energy. This is so beautiful. This is what it exactly is about. So what I'm going to tell you right now is what you can expect for next week, so you have a very clear understanding, so you don't have to be confused, because there will be 2 different groups, and some of you are really, really leaning in to creating your talk. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through it step by step so you have a clear understanding. At the end of the class, we will answer the questions, but I want to have for you to have a clear idea so that the content that we're going to go over today is going to land in that vision. Okay? So, with a raise of hands, who is speaking next week? We have Charlene, we got Mari, we got Patrice, we've got Carolyn, we've got Naomi, and we actually have Anmol that you did not see a lot in the trainings, but he's watching every single replay and he is getting ready for it next week as well. And when you go live, this is how people are going to see that. Let me quickly share this with you. This is what they will see. They will go to an official page where you are featured. Look at your absolute beautiful faces. When they scroll down, they're even able to see who you are and what you do. Isn't that absolutely super cool? Right? For everybody who's not yet speaking, this is what it's going to look like for you the week after. All right? What they're going to click on is a live stream. And in that live stream, you will be featured. You will be featured in a live stream so other people are watching you at the same exact time. The cool thing about this is that right now you are able to share the sign up link with people. So they actually are going to watch you live. So not just the people in this group are watching you, not just the people within the speaking community and the graduates who also went through this journey and know exactly how you feel and are able to hold space for you, but also people that you want to share this experience with. Maybe it's with a friend or with a family member. Maybe it is with a colleague. Maybe it's with someone that you wanted to do business with, and now you are on a speaking platform and you're able to show your expertise on a live international online stage. Does it make sense? So for you, you will come in the back scene of an technical platform that at the end of the talk, I will walk you through a little bit. You have all the information in the portal and you get everything through email, so don't worry. But you will be here on the live stage. For everybody that is watching, who's going to be watching next week? Raise your hand. You've got Adrian, Linda, Debbie, Irmak, Nilsa, Debbie, Luke, right? All the other people that are not speaking. What you are going to do is you are going to watch all of the speakers and you're going to have your speaking blueprint right in front of you, right? The speaking blueprint fill-in form that we've been working on for the entire couple of weeks that we've been working together. And you're going to make notes on whatever you're going to recognize from other people and how you can implement that for your own talk. Does that make sense? And then when everybody finished speaking, what we will do is we will come back to our Zoom with the same link that we always do. And we're going to evaluate together, making sure that the experience that you just had, whether you were watching or whether you were speaking, we integrate this so you all go to your next level immediately. And we use that high energy to really immediately implement. All right? So again, if you have any questions, we'll stay here at the end and I will walk you through the tech stuff, which is not necessary for people who are going to watch, right? But if you want to see it, you can, but you don't have to. But I wanted to share that visual with you so you have an idea of what's going to come. And what we're going to work on today is we're going to work on the next level of your talk. What I would love for you to do, again, is to open your blueprint document so you're able to make notes in it right away while we are working together. And as you all know, is we have multiple steps, right? 4 to be specific. Number 1 being the aim of the talk. Who would love to share in your own language what the aim of the talk really is all about? Naomi, we had our one-on-one call yesterday. In your own explanation, what is the aim all about and why is it so ridiculously important? And will we rehearse every single week? Because it sounds easy, but it's not easy. Why is it so important?
Yeah, I mean, the aim is actually the transformation that the audience is going to be experiencing. So without the aim, you're not able to really transform the audience, and it could lead to confusion. So I think that it's crucially important to spend time on it. I spent a lot of time on my aim. I actually just narrowed it down last week because I just kept reworking it. Okay, what is the outcome that I want my audience to experience? Who am I trying to impact here? So I worked really hard on like revising it, really clarifying like what the transformation is, what the outcome, the results that I want people to feel in their bodies. So yeah, that's my perspective.
Beautiful. And you hit it right on. So me and Charlene just had our one-on-one prep session for the speaking next week. And what we've been talking to, like Charlene has a specific spring, a physical product. And a lot of her talk was about how she created the spring, right? She started with a scene where she was 11 years old and sharing what that whole like the journey of her was, how she created the core spring. And what I love so much about Charlene's realization is that story was not exactly in line with the aim that she had, which is she wants to help people from pain to pain free. Her aim is helping people from pain to pain free. Now, you want to be clearer on your aim too, because when we go to step number 2, which is pick the right stories, me and Charlene together were able to pick stories really right away, very easily, because we knew, All these stories need to contribute to the journey for other people from pain to pain-free. Does it make sense? So what you want to be clear on, what is that before and after for your audience? Who do you help? Who do you help them? What do you help them with? And what is the now and what is the new? So when we're going to watch a piece of a video together in a minute, what you can decide is you can decide, I am going to focus on the aim. I'm going to listen to the aim from the speaker, and I'm up leveling the aim for myself because maybe you don't yet feel it's solid. When you do feel it's solid, we go to pick the right stories. What is important when we're talking about picking the right stories? Nilsa.
Picking the right stories is going to connect the aim to the teaching points.
That's a beautiful way of saying it, right? That's why I let you speak, by the way, all of you, because when you are able to explain it, you really get it. So can you elaborate a little bit, Nilsa? What do you mean?
Okay, so we have an aim. We have an aim. We want to create a transformation for the audience. And the way we engage them is picking stories from our story library so they can see themselves in the story. They're going to connect with the stories. Their own life experiences are going to be similar to the stories that we pick, even though they're different, but there's a similarities. People start connecting emotionally with the stories, and that takes them to the teaching points.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're not just telling people because facts tell, but stories sell, right? Stories bring people on a journey. Stories make people see what you're talking about. In our one-on-one, Charlene was saying, I have 2 bags that were very heavy. And then we reframed it to, these bags were so big that when I got to customs, they put the label too heavy on them. So now people are able to see the same thing. So we create a picture saying the exact same fact, but now people are able to see it because we're talking about the scene that people can see. Does it make sense? Beautiful. Anyone else who would love to add something to the stories? Debbie, do you have any additional thoughts? Maybe, do you remember that we have 3 C's for the stories? Do you mind sharing one that you remember, Debbie? One of the C's. You're on mute right now.
I've been thinking a lot, just like Luke predicted. Like the first time you think you know your aim, and then the next week, so many stories. And you want me to talk about the 3 C's, right?
Yeah. So do you remember one of the 3 C's?
Um,
And everybody can help you out in the chat.
okay, Nick, my story is about at finding your authenticity. And it doesn't matter how, there's many ways to look at it, right? I even looked at it from a food perspective. Like food, at least with me, I'm brought in a family where food is very important. We always tell stories, old stories about the family during food. And they did it from the time I was little.
Okay, let's pause there, Debbie. And
Okay.
everybody, I appreciate your help in the chat. Which of the 3 C's is she talking about right now? This should become super automatic. Which one? Debbie, look at the chat. Community, 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 community. So one of the 3 C's is community. Now, why is it so important, right? People buy from people that are just like them or they aspire to be. People they know, like, and trust. So when you share stuff about people you are hanging out with, you create, and this is actually what they call the halo effect.
Okay.
The halo effect is that when you see a doctor, or let's just say you see a man in a white coat or a woman in a white coat, and they say something about your health, you're more likely to trust what they're saying than someone in a red coat or a red jacket, or maybe, I don't know, like a leather pants. I don't know, something completely different, right? So now the white coat associates trust. Does that make sense? So when we see this white coat, we assume, oh, trustworthy. And this is so incredibly fun that now the doctor that has the credibility about health says something about your business, that we are even likely to trust that advice as well, because he already created trust in one area of life, which might not be completely true. You see what I'm saying? So now you're creating a halo effect for yourself about a lot of different personality traits. Because when you're talking about your childhood and how you were eating, the community, people feel some sort of trust around you. Some sort of trust that now you are able to bring on to you being an entrepreneur. Does it make sense for everybody? So that's why we want to do the community. Beautiful one, Debbie. Well done. Well said. Who's the next person who would love to share the other two C's? Adrian.
So the other two C's are credibility and coolness.
Amazing. And why are they so important?
Because credibility gives people a sense that you know what you're talking about, whether through your experience or from some sort of expertise. So that's another way that they can trust you. And coolness is what makes you unique. So that also helps people get a sense of who you are, start to relate to you, and then really start vibing on what you're saying.
Yes, vibing on what you're saying. And coolness also helps by differentiating yourself out of the market, right? Let's just say, Carolyn. Carolyn is helping people to live forever young. It's on her background, right? Forever young. Now, she's the person who helps you to be forever young. But did you know that she skied like for years and years and years? So now she's like, oh, she's like the girl who helps you get young. Oh, the skier one, right? So now she's helping you to create pictures that makes her different than all the other people. Or, and I just love saying it, Carolyn, and she, every time she's like, oh, Laura, why do you keep doing this? She's like 70 plus, you guys. Look at how she's looking. Like, she looks so incredible. So now we have these three C's. So we're bringing people along the journey. We're connecting the teaching points to the aim, like Nilsa said. We create that halo effect. We make sure that people are vibing with us, just like Adrian says. And then we go to step number 3. So later, when you're watching this part of the video that we're going to watch together, you can decide, I am going to focus on the stories. Because when I'm able to observe this better from someone else, and I see how someone else is implementing this, I can do this better for myself. So now I have ideas for myself, right? That's the outcome that we're looking for. Now, step number 3. Step number 3 is glue it all together. And let's start with the opening and the end. Irmak, why is the opening and why is the end so important to focus on? Why is it almost like a whole different step that we really focus on and don't just put with the rest? In your own words.
Opening is, I think, is and closing is one of the most memorable parts of the speech, right? So we will have the probably highest attention and possibility to observe the information. So it is important to capture that attention and be able to capitalize on that moment, I guess. So that in time, maybe there's like a kind of a curve, a little bit like this. And then that's why we are shooting them up again. And so I think that's the thing. And of course, the closing is what they take away with also probably what they will remember the most.
100%, super well said. And when you're saying like these spikes, we're already talking about audience engagement, and I love that. And to anchor in what you're saying, they did this. This also, like, apparently we're in the doctor research. They did these experiments on people where they had a procedure that was quite painful. So what they did is they tried to lower the number that people would feel on a scale of 0 to 10. 0, no pain, 10, pain. And I'll paraphrase, so don't like write down the number specifically, but just to make a point, this is what the experiment looked like. All right. So the procedure was as follows. You would just go, and then after doing it, people were rating their number on the pain scale. And in the beginning, it was, for example, an 8. And they were doing all these technical things. They were using different tools. They were in different light, different this, different that, and every single time the number stayed the same. But how they actually lowered the number on the pain scale is doing this. And Earmark, this is exactly what you just shared regarding the end. Because in the end, you're like people remember the beginning and the end the most. So when you, in a minute, when we're watching this video, choose to focus on lens number 3, the beginning and the end, in this case, we're going to focus on the beginning and the end. You're focusing on maybe the 2 most important parts, because that's actually what people remember most. The first 7 seconds, people are going to decide if they're going to listen to you, yes or no. And when they decide no, it's going to be very hard to bring them back. When you're talking about yourself and how you discovered certain things, like that's not necessary for an audience. You want to loop the audience in by speaking their language right from the start, intriguing them somehow. And then Earmark, what you were sharing about the end was super powerful, because what happened with this specific pain scale experiment is what they did is right when they were finished with their procedure, they just let the patient lie there for, let's say, half a minute. So instead of finishing and being effective and letting them go and then let them fill in the pain scale, they actually did the same exact thing, but then at the end, they stayed there for a little bit. So now when the patient stood up, what was right at the end was not as painful as before, because they just had a little bit of seconds to process. And what they noticed is that on the pain scale, they were rating the whole entire procedure less painful, even though nothing really changed. That's saying you can have an incredible keynote, incredible. But if the last bit is a little bit like, yeah, people won't measure it as high as they should just because they're the last bit. And that can be the last 30 seconds just with this experiment. Right? So Earmark, that was well said. It's the beginning and the end that really builds up that climax. And then step number 4, optimizing the delivery. What are all different things that you can come up with that optimize the delivery? Naomi, what do you got?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
You're good. What are all the things that you can do to optimize the experience? And I will share an example to help all of you out and help each other in the chat. Could there be a difference between... All right, so it was really cool because success coach Luke shared his story about how he actually shared yesterday on a comedy show, and he had a slot. There were 35 other people, and he was also one of them. And he was just sharing like this whole story about how he felt uncomfortable before, but he went for it, and he felt like $1 million at the end. Version number 1. Version number 2B. All right, it was like really, really cool. Like success coach Luke shared a story about what he did during a comedy competition yesterday. And he said, all right, you guys, I was just as nervous and how nervous you are feeling right now. But because I kept going and I went from one speaking engagement to the next, and I started to recognize that whenever I got better, the feelings stay the same, but I just went for it anyways. That when I went through this one again, I felt like $1 million. And I just know that when you go through it, you are also able to feel that feeling. 2 versions. What was the difference? And what has this to do with the optimization lens? I'm not saying this was an optimal story, but what does this have to do with the optimization lens? What can we learn from the difference between those two? What was the main difference? I see tonality, yes, tonality, stage presence, like all those things are really important, but that was not really what I was focusing on.
He was very descriptive about the experience, like what he was feeling. So, he shared like the actual emotions behind it. He was very specific with how he was experiencing it, or he's experiencing it. I don't know if
Yes.
that, yeah.
Specific. And if I would add something to this, there was one sentence that I changed, one sentence, one pivotal point, and that changed all the rest. So tonality, I was not paying attention. Stage presence, was not paying attention. If you would grade me right now, I'm not willing to receive that feedback because I was not paying attention. I was not focused on that lens. The lens I was focusing on was one and one only. Dialogue. Well done, Nilsa. Very, very, very good observation. What I shared was the first one was absolutely in the past. I shared success Luke was sharing. What he was saying, what he was sharing is, in the second version, I said Luke was sharing. And what he said was this. What he said was this. And then I time traveled to the present and I'm sharing it like I was sharing it. Does that make sense? This might be very practical, but this is one lens of the optimization that when applied, this makes the biggest shift in the shorter amount of time. When you're willing to not share everything in the past like it happened in the past, but when you are time traveling to a moment and sharing it like it's now. Make sense? Some of you might intellectually understand it. For some of you, it might be like, whoa, that was like a lot. Well, if that's the second step, if you feel like, oh, that was a lot, then congratulations. Focus on one of the first three lenses, right? Because we first want to make sure that the fundament is clear before you're even going there. Because when we want to hold 5 balls in the air while 2 is still a challenge, it's not going to be a fun process, and we decided to make this fun and easy. That's why number 1, that's when number 2, that's when number 3, and 4 is a bonus for the academy. Nilsa noticed it, she's here for the 5th round. So don't compare your timeline to someone else's, all right? This is really the next level of nuance that you're able to see. But this is also something that I want to open for people who are ready for that. So when we look at step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and step number 4, with a head nod, do you have clear for yourself where you want to focus on right now, which feels the most important for you right now? Can you give me a very clear one? Like a very clear one, like almost like exaggerating, like completely like, Lori, why are you doing this to me kind of nod. Come on, you guys, I'm not alone in this. Naomi is with me, Luke is with me. Who has a clear idea on what you're focusing on? Mari? You got it? You got a clear idea? Perfect, perfect. Because with that idea, you can put the lens in the chat. So either the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, or the number 4, on which you're going to focus on right now. So Patrice and Debbie, you were going to focus on the beginning and the end. Katharina, you're going to focus on what's the aim, what's the outcome, what's the through line of my talk? Like, how is this other person doing and what can I learn from that? I love that. Mari as well, what's your aim? What's your goal? Naomi and Linda are going for it. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna dance with this optimization, Lori. I'm ready for it and I'm down for the adventure. So is Nilsa. What other things? I want to see it from everybody, because if you don't choose, the next step will not be as useful. The second. So Carolyn and Nils and Adrian, you're going to focus on the stories. What stories are they using? How are, like, what different C's are they sharing? Is it like a whole entire thing? So is earmarked. Beautiful, beautiful. The outcome, and I cannot emphasize this enough, this is not us watching a cool talk. Actually, from one of the peers that is in this group. And that person doesn't know that we're going to watch it. So this is going to be a fun surprise. And I'm not sure that this person is hearing this at this moment right now. So it's going to be even more of a surprise. We're going to watch it together. And what I want you to look through is the lens that I want to focus on. What is this person doing that I can learn from, that I either can model and do the exact same thing because it was resonating with me so much, or can I get inspiration from so I can use it for my own talk? Any questions before we begin? No? Are we ready to start watching? All right. So the person we're gonna watch is the person that gave me a video for the preparation already. And I might already had my one-on-one bonus with her. And now together we're gonna watch it as well. Naomi. I saw your face.
Oh my God. Okay, let's go.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through this and we're gonna not per se watch it all the way till the end. We're gonna watch a part of this and we're gonna see what is she doing already incredibly amazing. And the cool thing is for Naomi in this place is you're able to watch yourself again, the third time watching yourself again. When you're waiting for feedback and you want someone else to share it with you, what can help is record yourself, watch yourself in the moment, let it go for 1 or 2 days, sometimes even 3 or 4, because you're so in it, and then watch the recording again. Because you will get insights by watching yourself, not coming from the same place as when you recorded it. All right? So let's watch this together.
And also the closing, I'm still working on that.
Which, by the way, the first minute of when she recorded, I really want to acknowledge you here, Naomi, for every single one of you, is some people are waiting for recording for the perfect moment and really think everything through every single detail. And then when you've done it, you're like, oh, this was just not perfect again. So we go from number 1 to number 2, not really to number 3, not like you want to control it. And what you did so well, Naomi, the first minute you shared with me, Lori, this is kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this. And I'm going to do it anyways. And then you did. And therefore, we were able to do this. So kudos to you. Can we give it up for her? Because that's super epically important on this whole journey. And I want this to be an inspiration for all of you to really record it. Like you can literally look at me and say, Lori, I have no clue what I'm going to say. This is my blueprint. It's not even completely filled. So I'm just going to kind of share this now. Okay. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Good for you. Kudos. Because it does need to be perfect. Heck, it won't be. So let's better just do it fast so you can iterate faster.
It's rough. It's pretty rough, but I'll just jump into it. I'm just gonna read it. This is my first time reading it as well. So, except for when I was working on each part. Okay.
One more thing. When you want to read it and you want to write it out before you can, this is absolutely not a requirement. Absolutely not a requirement. Okay? You can also just talk it through or write bullet points for yourself.
So, and also the intro is really rough. I don't like this intro because it just sounds, kind of right. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking into a life shaped by others, a life where dreams are suffocated by the weight of expectations. At 16, I stood at the edge in a small village in Trinidad, where the future seemed as narrow as the dusty roads I walked every day to and from school. A future where girls like me were groomed for lives we never chose, where the echoes of "find a husband" were louder than our own voices. But I refused to let my story be written by the hands of tradition. I made a pact with myself, a fierce, unyielding promise that I would not be another chapter in a book of what if, of what could have been. Sorry. So my last year in high school, I saved every dollar I had and scraped together every coin I could find, sometimes going hungry to save enough for an American visa application. I was told it was impossible, that dreams like mine were too audacious for a girl like me. But I spoke truth to power, and I believed with every fiber of my being that I was destined for more. Standing in the embassy, my heart pounded with fear and hope. When the immigration officer slid my passport under the window, her green eyes locked onto mine. It felt like she was searching my soul, trying to see the truth of everything I had risked and hoped for. That moment was a testament to the grit of a 17-year-old girl who dared to defy the odds. A girl who knew that the only way to change her story was to write it herself. This is not just my story. It's a call to action, a reminder that within each of us lies the power to shatter the chains of expectations and live boldly, unapologetically, and with audacious belief.
Kaboom. Okay. Let's pause it right here. And let's first giving a round of applause again for doing it, for being so vulnerable, for being so open, and to freaking do the work. That's incredible. That's what we really celebrate, because when you keep making these videos, they will get better every single time. So, team opening and closing. Katharina, what did you notice about how she opened in this way specifically? Do we have Katharina still with? Oh, there we go.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was kind of caught up in the whole overall story. So in looking at the beginning, and I noticed I was kind of focused on her demeanor, how she was, looking at this way, and I I'm kind of sorry. It's just I think I got caught more on the on the things that she was sharing about the action and all
Okay.
these other things. There was part of the story that she does reflect on how her interaction when she's as a 17-year-old trying to apply or right for the visa, I think it is. And then yeah, I apologize. It's just I was
It is okay.
overwhelmed by so many
So,
details.
so everybody else, is this a good thing or a bad thing that Katharina, who was absolutely focused on the opening, kind of forgot? Like, Katharina, just maybe you're giving the best compliment you can ever give someone.
It's just to me, I was caught in the narration, and for a moment, I kind of the way how I felt, I was transported to the moment. So
Okay.
literally, I felt myself like I was watching when you were having that experience yourself of you as a 17-year-old, you're trying to live out, right? And you're having this encounter at the airport. And then you transported me to this other situation there where you are right in your home environment and you're trying to kind of move out of the norm, the rule that was there, right? That you are, and then you took me to this other place where it's now the call to action. So you're telling me and sharing me that story. So I felt for a moment like I was watching every scene, and then to the point where now you're calling me to take action. Like I need to live boldly. So I just kind of felt
You kind
so
of remembered
that's why
every
I
single
didn't pay too much
thing of what she
attention to
would
the
say.
beginning.
Yeah.
It was just all this, and I felt so connected that, I mean, those were like the highlights. To me, it caught my memory, and I got so attached to those scenes, right, from your story that I mean, it made me feel empowered. I just felt like I needed to take action and make a big decision today, right? So that's how I felt. So no, thank you.
Super cool. Patrice, what about you?
That you're killing it, Naomi. I can tell you. Like just for the first scene. She said it, she said what I call a bait really early in this thing. She said it, she put a bait to catch everyone attention And the bit was the contrast. She put people on the cliff, a younger on the cliff in Trinidad, right? She shared the place, the community she's from, which is a different community than where we are. And then you like, how did a 17-year-old find itself in the United States? Like, what is this story going to tell me? So a 17-year-old on a cliff in Trinidad, that completely bait just keep the audience focused. Like, what this story is going to be about.
So this is the cool part. So first, let's finish Katharina, and then I'm going to come back to you, Patrice. So Katharina, the fact that you were not exactly remembering, even though it was your utter focus, because that was the task, that's the biggest compliment you can ever give someone. So Naomi, just know that. Everybody observe that, right? This is what we want with our opening. The best opener sometimes, like there's different viewpoints of openings, but one that I really like, that guy, he opens and then you're like, did he start, or is this kind of the introduction of the start? And then you're kind of like awkwardly somewhere and you're like, I think we started. Okay, we're in it, you know? So it doesn't have to be once upon a time, right? And you can find the way that works for you. That's why we're watching so many examples. I'm not here to tell you there's one framework that's going to work for every single one of you. That will be so boring. We have ChatGPT for that, right? What I'm here to is to help you unfold the magic that's inside of you and to see so many other examples that you start to see, oh my God, like Katharina, you were totally observed. Can you see what she was doing? Can you do the exact same thing for yourself? And then there's like 25 more examples, if not 50. Like we're uploading more examples for you guys in the backend portal of the blueprint. Like if you go to the third tab of the blueprint, there's all example videos to see what are other people doing with their opening. You don't have to come up from scratch. You can just look at other people, what did they do? How can I model that? And what resonated with me? So beautifully done, Catherine. Even though you said sorry, I don't think you need to apologize. I think you can celebrate. You did phenomenally well. And then now you, Patrice, you were focusing on the stories, correct? So was it, I think so. So you were focused on the stories and you shared something around
opening and closing, yeah.
the opening closing. Okay, perfect. So you shared something about how the opening was really captivating for you, but also you shared something about Trinidad. So now you're interested in, okay, there's this cultural part of her that she's now sharing, like she's kind of like dropping. It's like, oh my God, right? And she is in the US. So now you're confused. Did something of that story kind of like provoke something within yourself? And if so, why?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Oh, I'd say I live her life pretty much same story in a different lens, right? Born in Cameroon in the US, like how does that happen? So when she started with that story, Trinidad on a cliff, she's telling the story. I can relate because even though it's probably two different communities, but there's a lot of similarity into it. And there's probably a little similarity into the journey. So we have the same journey. How similar is it, that journey? That's pretty much why it got me so good.
Isn't that fascinating? I'm pretty much the same story. Who do people buy from? People who are just like whom? Just like themselves. And they aspire to be. So why do we share this coolness? Why do we share this community? Right? Has Trinidad anything to do, Naomi, with your skills in writing, which is actually the product that you're sharing? Has Trinidad anything to do with your talent of writing? Yes or no? Why yes?
Yes. I mean, it's a part of my story and it's a part of like how I'm able to relate to people.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, so it's part of the story, but it has nothing to do with the way your hand writes. It's nothing with your skill itself, right? If you would have been born in Venezuela, like it might have been the same thing.
Yeah.
If you would be born in Austin, Texas, you might have had the same writing skills. But now because we're adding Trinidad, it becomes the story, right? Now people are able to relate on a certain specific level, which we now already see. And because I know details of your life, I'm able to ask these specific questions, but I don't know probably 90% of all of your lives. So who also related on an emotional level, maybe a little bit more than anyone. Look at this. Isn't that so amazing? So sometimes we're looking for, like what is my keynote? What is the perfect script? And just by her dropping this part of the story, she relates with almost everybody in the room. Now, what I could do, which I won't, because of time, I could ask every single one of you why. Why? Why? And then you would come up with your own stories on why. Actually, I do want to hear it from two people. Who would love to share a little bit? Mari, are you willing to share like why you related so much with Naomi?
Well, first of all, the cliff thing was throwing me off because I wanted to start a film like that. But I was, I was born in the States, but I was raised in Peru, and so different. The language, the people, the color, the everything. So when you said that, I mean, you just got me in there in a second.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Irma, what about you?
I've obviously moved to Netherlands from Turkey, and actually from a kind of a suburb part of Turkey. So it took me a few stops. So it every time it was like a quite interesting cultural switch. So yeah, and it really resonates from that perspective.
Wow. Isn't that fun? Like no one who shared comes from Trinidad. Right? So it's not the absolute specific thing of you. Right? Sometimes when we're sharing about kite surfing, we just associate, I like adventurous sports too. Or when you're talking about Trinidad, like, did you know, Naomi, that you were able to create such a rapport in the first minute just by sharing a coolness, right? Some of you might still think coolness, it's not necessary, Lori, with your coolness, haha, yeah, I'll just do my credibility because I need to make sure that people trust me. I'm telling you, is the 3 C's why people trust you, is the combination why people trust you. And we keep proving it over and over again. Patrice?
Yeah, and that proves a point. I always think that Naomi was cool, but now I think she's cooler.
Right?
Just from that. So, full disclosure, I will buy something from her now more likely than before. Just from that.
That's so cool. And it has nothing to do with her skill of her product. Do we see that? It says, like, when we invite people on a journey, which I hope every single one of you does, right? When you want to be a speaker, when you want to be a motivational speaker, we're not able to change someone's life in 10 minutes, but we can inspire them to one next step. And what if you can guide them to what that next step is? So for Naomi's sake, she has a community, right? She is building a paid community, correct, Naomi? So now you're like, okay, do you want to be in my paid community where this is like what we're doing? And of course she would say it in a different way. But do we see that her keynote is now inspiring people? They're motivated, and now they will say yes to one more next step. So she's able to help them transform. So because she was willing to listen to the framework and add coolness, now she has rapport with everybody in the group, and she didn't even share what she's actually credible in. Or did she? Or did she share that she's actually credible by willing to take the leap of faith? And does she now create a halo effect around her that shares, whatever I do, I don't give up, and I am willing to step into uncomfortable situations because I've done it before. So she doesn't have to say, hey, I'm the best publisher, I can write your book. I have this amazing community where you're going to learn X, Y, and Z. Of course, we also want to hear that at some point. But maybe we want to hear it through a story instead of her telling us. Do we see how all this theory comes together and how this comes together for you? Before we start watching, I want to use 2 minutes where you're going to write down how you are going to integrate this for yourself. So get your blueprint if it's right in front of you. If it's not in front of you, you're like, I cannot find it right now. DM Luke and he will find it for you, or write it on a piece of paper for now and put it in your blueprint afterwards. Don't complicate the tech, just be present and lean in. But write down the thoughts and ideas that you now have for your own talk, whether that's for next week, whether that's for 5 weeks from now. All right, the last couple of seconds, just write down your notes. Don't overcomplicate it. Doesn't need to be finished. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just write down what you're thinking. Oh, with the raise of hands, who got a cool insight for yourself just listening to, what was it, 2 minutes from Naomi? Isn't it cool? Isn't it powerful to see that even though, Naomi, you felt like, oh my God, Lori, this is not a perfect one. We're all able to learn because you created the recording. Other people get inspiration from something that you thought was imperfect. You were willing to go to step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3. You created it, you did it, and now you have a third version so that you can create a new version number 1, the one you're going to prepare next. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a second piece. A small clip, a small piece where we're able to reflect on for ourselves. So focus again on the same lens that we were focusing on. If you have the beginning and the end, just lean in and see what you find as well, okay? This is somewhere in the middle.
I used to think that once you finally chose yourself, once you finally take the leap, you'd feel free. Like the hardest part was making the decision. Like once you left what was safe, everything else would fall into place. I imagined a life where I could finally breathe, where adventure awaited me at every turn. It didn't happen quite like that. We're 8 months into van life, it's Christmas morning, and we're deep in the mountains of Oregon. The scenery is breathtaking, snow-capped peaks glistening in the sunlight, a winter wonderland. But the temperature has dropped below zero. And when I say cold, I mean the kind of cold where the water in your bottles is frozen solid, and your apples could be used as hockey pucks. The coolant freezes overnight. When we try to start the van, there's a loud pop, and smoke pours out from the engine. That's it. We're dead in the water. We're stranded in the middle of nowhere. The tow trucks can't even get up here because of the ice. There's no help coming. A kind stranger let us camp under his carport while we figure it out. Weeks go by with Dustin lying under the van every day, on frozen ground trying to rebuild the engine with his bare hands. I'm holding a flashlight reading the Volkswagen repair manual out loud while my fingers go numb, chopping wood to keep the fire pit burning so we can stay warm.
All right. That was it. What do we notice? Nilsa.
Well, there's the contrast. She has a dream to leave her country. Now she gets to the United States. And now, life happens. And she's telling us all these little stories, and we're picturing her with the flashlight, with the manual, trying to fix the car and the fireplace. We start seeing all the stories.
Yeah, so she created a lot of contrast in one talk, which, by the way, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
For me, it's a great thing. I'm on the roller coaster. Every time she's speaking, I'm going with her.
Yes, it's a good thing, because when we create contrast once, something happens and then it resolved. It's like, okay, right? We create contrast, which is already good, because when we stay flat the entire time, meaning I'm on a trip with my grandma. I gave this example before. I'm on a trip with my grandma, and then we have to cross the street. And then we look at the left, we look at the right, we look back at the left, which what we do in the Netherlands, we do 3 times. We step over to the other side and we're all fine. It's like, wow, that was a sucky story, Laurie. There was no contrast at all. There was not something that was almost letting me collapse, and she needed to like something that you did not expect, or something that creates that polar opposite. And that polar opposite, that's what drags us in and out and left and right, and wow, that's the roller coaster. That's the emotional roller coaster we want to create for our people, so they're engaged with us the entire time. It's not predictable, it's actually exciting. And then they want to hear the next piece, and then they want to hear the next piece, and then it's a little different. And then, so we are always present. So what you did in 2 pieces is you created contrast. Right? You created contrast, or like excitement, where on one piece it was not sure if you were going to enter the US. And then you said, I thought this was going to be an epic, adventurous life. And then this is the reality. And we talked in our one-on-one on language, how to make this even more powerful and to make this more often, because there's always something to grow into. But we're also focused on why this is working. Who else? What do we notice? Linda.
So without her saying, I met this person, she's introduced a new person into the story. So it makes you say, who is this person? So otherwise she could have said, I met X person, this is what happened. So she jumped. So now you're thinking, okay, there's someone else in her life, and who is that person, and what is the relationship? So it's it adds a new level of intrigue.
Interesting. Super good observation. So Linda, question to you. Like, did that bother you? Were you confused at any points? Like, who's this person? What's the relationship? How does this work? Like, were you confused?
No, it didn't because I'll tell you what, because the way she communicates her stories, it was just that moment. That's who was there. So she didn't have to say, oh, I met him and this is what happened. He was part of that story. And I'm sure he'll come up somewhere along the lines again to
Interesting.
have more answers. But I like that. That was really cool.
So what you're saying, if I would reflect this on the language that we're all speaking in a way that we're all able to apply this to someone else, it was a beautiful observation, Linda, is that in order for you to make a point, you don't need to be correct, you don't need to be complete, or you don't have to share the incredible long timeline to introduce that person, because now your story is not like linear. right? Because when did you meet? Oh, well, I actually met him, and then this, and this. It's so not relevant for the outcome. It's not relevant for your story, because it's correct. You're right. We want to introduce, and this is the person, and you want to explain it to me, tell it to me. But your audience doesn't need to know those details about the person for you to make the point to get to your aim. Does that make sense? Does this make sense on an intellectual level? Because there's a lot of steps into actually applying this, because I've been working on this long enough to know that you're going to convince me why it is relevant. And then I'm saying, no, it's not, because, and then we go back and forth, and then we're like, okay, it's not. Right? So it's beautiful, Linda, that you're observing this, because when you are creating your talk, a really nice frame for you will be, is this relevant for me? Or is this relevant for my audience? And sometimes that's really hard to define for yourself because you're so in it. That's why we're doing this together. Mari, I saw your hand first.
I had a question, not a question, but a statement. It's like she wanted to change her life. I was 17, I want to go somewhere else, you know? And then, and I'm thinking Trinidad is more warm, whatever. And then she's throwing you off on the total opposite. It's freezing, the water, the apple, the whole thing, you know? So it was very like, she is aiming to give you that contrast, and I am making the difference. I'm going from here to there.
Yes, amazing. You see, this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this, Mari, because I know Mari now a little bit better than in the beginning of the Speaking Academy. And what I've been noticing, Mari, is that your brain works very visually, correct? Like you are a documentary maker. You see stuff when you hear it, right? So now what is so cool is she's sharing her visual observations. Do we see that? Now I'm very curious to ask the same question to Nilsa. Nilsa, what did you notice?
Oh my God, I was waiting for this moment. Okay, so Naomi, I see so much credibility, and you're at the beginning of the story, so much credibility with you as a kid. You know, and I see so much community as well, because you have become a role model in Trinidad for the other girls that say, she left this island. She's not groomed for no husband. I'm out of here. And for me, that's, oh my God, that for me is amazing. This whole, the credibility of you finished your high school. I mean, you finished your high school, you saved your money, you went and met an immigration. You had the grit to replace the odds. And from Trinidad to the United States, when you talk about the dusty roads, I've been to Trinidad. There's beautiful beaches there. So for me, it's like she's talking about the dusty roads, but I know as a kid, she used to enjoy the beaches in Trinidad. All right. So, and then the coolness is you have a dream. It's an audacious dream, and you made it happen. But there's a community piece where you become a role model for all the other girls on the island. And when you hit eyes with the lady, I'm assuming she's the one with the green eyes, and she gave you the permission to leave. She bonded with you. She knew what you were doing, because she maybe couldn't, she didn't have an out, but you did, and she gave you that opportunity. So that's what I got from all that.
That's so beautiful. Do we see that in this case, Linda, Mari, and Nilsa's observations were extremely different with a raise of hands? Right? Extremely different. But were they all correct from their own point of view? Yes or yes? Absolutely. So the beauty of stories, and we cannot emphasize this enough, that's why we're doing this interactive style, is facts tell, but stories sell. Patrice wants to buy something from Naomi that he doesn't even know what is, just because he knows we are from the same DNA. Like not the same DNA in the same country, but we get each other. I've been through the same journey. I know what you struggled with. And if you're here sharing so passionate about where you are now, I honor you. Because that's the part I honor within myself. And because you shine and you are willing to be the mirror for me right now, I'm able to see that within myself again and admire myself on a higher level. What you show me through your lens and your mirror is what I want to feel within myself. And that's what we do as speakers. You're shining a light with your energy, with your personality, with your stories, with your through line. You are the mirror for the people within your audience. And what you're willing to share about yourself is what they're able to experience within themselves. And we see that it's different from everybody. And what I was sharing is Mari has a very visual way of seeing things. So help this girl out and share visuals. Nilsa is sharing her lens, and what I sometimes hear from you, Nils, and that's why I asked for it, is you look, and that was the first thing you were saying, the credibility of this is, right? You're a girl of numbers, and give it to her. Give it to her. Don't let her wait. Doesn't mean that's the only thing that they're looking for. Because Nilsa and Mari are humans. They're very holistic. They have other things. They have other pictures they look through. But when it's their preferred learning style, give it to them. Don't let them wait, you know? Patrice, what did you notice?
Oh, I had a question on a different thing. You were talking about linearity of the story. And I sometimes have the tendency of keeping the story linear because I will put detail just to give people the context of what I'm talking about, and then I get too much detail. I just don't know how, like, what comment or what advice you have on that. Like dropping a character suddenly would be something not that would do easily, pretty much.
Yes. What I would say, and Naomi, this is what we discussed in our one-on-one as well, is there, like, let me say it like this. Let's say that we look at the first speech you create, the speech you do, the one you did. When we have the expectation in level 1, the one you prepared, to do all of the 4 lenses perfectly in order, including the linear, without going through the first 3, it's going to be really complex. It's going to be really complex. So what I would say is the question that you're asking right now is an advanced level 4 question. Okay, so in order for us to have a solid answer for that, which I can give you, which might not be actually what I want to give you, because first, the first 3 needs to be solid. Because when we give headspace and energy to the time traveling, to dropping in, to open, like all of those, it's a whole different ball game. And what we first want to do is we want to establish the fundament. When the fundament is set, if you've done it one time, you felt what it felt like, you experienced what that was like, that is the moment that we can open up it for the next level. And when I said this to Naomi, I will share this because I recognize this within myself, and I think it's a compliment. She was like, well, that sounds great, but I still want to know. So I still will share it, but I also want to introduce it like this. So when you set it as an expectation for yourself, it's not a fair expectation. So have grace. No, just almost promise me I won't think of this, but just to satisfy the curiosity and also to have space for, like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm just gonna tell you anyways, but I will share that with that grace. All right. So what I look for in the timeline is that most people share the timeline in a chronological order. And that is like not even a conscious thought, that's just what's logical, so that's what you do. When we are going to play around with this level of consciousness, we're going to first of all ask ourselves the question, in order for us to create the aim, to create most emotional engagement, and to create loops, which part makes most sense to actually start with and to acknowledge as time. So when I would pick Naomi's, for example, let's just say she has 5 stories. And those 5 stories right now are shared equally. So every story gets 20%, and they're shared in the same linear order in which they happened. What we're talking about in this lens is, all right, first and foremost, what is going to be our head story? And what is the order going to be? And what is the percentage that we're giving each? So for example, I'm making this abstract so you can understand the framework. Is story number 4, when we would use story number 4 in the beginning, ooh, that's going to create tension. This is going to be very fascinating. And what we're going to do is we're making story number 2 not 20%, but story number 2 is going to be 60%. And then story number 1, 3, and 5 are going to be at the end. And they're all going to get, like, let's say 10% of what's left, or the 20% of what's left, they're gonna fit in equally. So now instead of this kind of like systemized talk, it becomes like more of an art where you're going to play around with timelines and you create that sensitivity through different modalities. Now, those were a lot of big words at the same time. So what I want to share this is because I want to satisfy the curiosity, because sometimes I also feel like, yeah, okay, great, but I still want to know, right? So now you know the context, but I really want to give every single one of you grace to not even think about applying it, because it makes it really, really much more complex, which increases the likelihood of like, I'm not ready, while you are. So what I want to do you first is get me a video, whatever state you're in. Just talk to me. Just speak it out. And it won't be perfect. I give you all permission to absolutely suck in your video. But I want the video. Because without the video, there won't be a level 3. And without a level 3, there won't be a never level 1 again. So you start spiraling in your level 1, which we will never get to a breakthrough because you did not actually do it. Does it make sense? Are there any other questions? Who feels relieved? A little bit, right? Look at that. You're not alone on this journey, you know? That's why we do this together. Any other questions? Naomi, how was this for you? Oh, Mari, you have a question?
Sorry. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is the aim, the 3 C's, and then the glue it together. That is that kind of like you're narrating the story, you're gluing it together, you're giving evidence for your argument, which is the aim is this, and then you're going to end it wrapping it up. So are you saying when you say glue it together, is that part?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Nice. Nice. Glue it together is the beginning, the end, and how you're gluing it together in between. So when we're talking about 2 stories, how are you going to make sure that it makes a smooth ride? Every time we're not creating a smooth ride, we're distracting the audience. When we're distracting the others, we're not the leaders from stage who are the leaders of attention. They're going spiraling in their own brain. They're not present with you. You lost them. So you said it perfectly right. And I love this, Mari, because when we are able to see it, we're able to speak it out and we see, oh, we are getting it right. You're going to get to your next breakthrough just because of that understanding. So beautiful. Beautiful. Naomi, how was this for you to go through?
Very vulnerable. I appreciate all the feedback so much. Wow, like I feel like I just broke through a layer of my perfectionist tendencies, because that's what this was about. It's like, you know what? Let me just put it out there, and this is why I'm here. So this was really, really valuable for me. I appreciate all the feedback. Wow, my mind is blown. I'm ready to like get back to the drawing board and like really work on refining lens one and two and three, and just putting it all together. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for next week. So I have a lot of work to do in between now and then, but it's exciting.
That's so cool. And it's very different language than what you said to me yesterday based on the excitement of next week. Is that true? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So who here in this group sometimes deals with perfectionist tendencies as well? I liked how you said that. Or am I right? Some of you. Who felt inspired by Naomi willing to share that and still going through a video? right? And felt maybe a little bit more permission for you to create a crappy video. Not that this was crappy, this was incredible, but to give yourself the that was a fun way of saying this, but like the allowance to record and do it. Right? That's what this is about. Naomi, you might created one of the biggest breakthroughs for anyone in this room because you were willing to record your video. And therefore, did you get transformation too? Yes or yes? That's the power of speaking wherever you go, guys. Everywhere you go. Other people will get something out of this, especially when you don't think it's good enough. Because people don't relate with robots. People relate with human beings that also go through the same emotional journey that you're going through. So when you're willing to speak out those thoughts that other people are going through right now, and I'll go back to what we started when I was sharing your example, Charlene, about pain to pain-free. Those are the thoughts that people have. I have pain right now, right? I want to pain-free. I probably don't even believe it's possible. So when you know that that is in the mind of your audience, you want to speak to those thoughts. You don't need to share about all the other cool ideas you have because people are not there. We want to create and craft that journey. So whatever the journey is for you, whatever the aim is that you're accomplishing, whatever the stories are that you're going to choose, which by the way, if I would say, which I'm not, Naomi, but we will work on that in the next iteration, which I want to congratulate for, is you can change all the stories, but still get your aim. There will be a point where I can say, hey, Naomi, it's one day before the graduation. I know you've been practicing a lot and I want to congratulate for that. Right now, I'm sharing a secret mission with you. I would love for you to share the same transformational journey, but change all the stories. And where you're like, what? Right? That's what we're leaning into. It's like, and then you're like, you know what, Lori? No worries. I'm like, I will worry, but I'll make it happen. And then the next one, the next time I'm saying it, I'm like, I want you to keep the stories, but I want to change the aim. And now, and this is what Nilsa experienced last time, which I'm so proud for you, Nilsa. It's like she lost her script. She was in a different place with a different atmosphere. She still rocked and rolled because you understand the framework and you've practiced it enough so you're adaptable and flexible. And you guys, that is what this is about. It's not to help you shine one time on one stage because you've been practicing for half a year and you've memorized the script over and over again and you become a robot. This is about you saying, you want me to speak tomorrow because someone fell out and I'm apparently there? Of course I got you. How many minutes do you want me to fill? 12? 10? 15? 25? I got you, no worries. And still in the no worries, you can still feel what Luke shared in the beginning. You still feel like, whoo. I mean, some people would call this worry. I just learned that this is excitement and I'm still going for it because I've practiced it enough to know that I got it all the time, everywhere, for everyone who's excited for that. Who's excited for next week, where half of you is going to share and do what you've been working on, and half of you is getting your blueprint on the side, which you've done right now, and you're listening to all the other speakers, and maybe just like Katharina today, you will be like, well, Lori, I put the blueprint next to it, but I didn't fill anything in. I was so captivated. Sorry. It's like, well, that's not sorry. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's exactly the point. But I want you to notice that you're not watching this for entertainment. You're watching this to learn. Who got that? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because before we're going to wrap this one up, and before I'm going to share for the people who want to see it, how the tech works on the back end when you're a speaker, whether you are next week and whether you're in 5 weeks, you're willing to stay. So you already see it twice here. So you don't have to panic about it at all because it's quite easy. You just need to know the right buttons. Luke, I see your hand up. What do you want to add?
Yeah, just a quick one. I think you just mentioned it then, Laurie, but I don't know whether you've talked about the anxiety versus excitement and the study they did at Harvard, which was the basis of that. Did you go into that? Can I mention it quickly?
Yes, you can mention it.
Sure. So they did a study at Harvard because what we try to do when we have, I'll call it anxiety, whatever it is for you, nerves, whatever you call it, the part of the brain that has anxiety is the same part of the brain that has excitement. What we try and do when we feel anxious or we feel nervous is we go, I got to calm down. I got to calm down. This is anxiety and excitement. This is calm. They're opposite spectral emotions. So instead of trying to calm down, I got to be calm. I got to be peaceful. Instead, it's very easy to change anxiety or nerves into excitement. And the study at Harvard, they got people to do a karaoke machine. And what they said was, right, you're going to do this performance. And with some people, they said, you're just going to do the performance. And they missed all the notes and they did a terrible performance. The other group, they said, right, I want you to say, I'm excited about my performance. I'm excited about my performance. I'm excited about my performance. 60% increase in the notes they hit when they say. So say out loud, I'm excited about my talk. I'm excited about my talk. I'm excited about my talk. And you'll actually become excited about it. So instead of trying to stop anxiety, you replace it with a more powerful emotion. It is so useful. I just wanted to share that for those of you getting ready for next week. Thank you.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. That's power. And then when you're bringing that high energy, that high frequency, you're also putting the blood in where your memory actually is. That is a beautiful one, Luke. I didn't even know about this specific, like the notes one. So that was cool. So with that said, I want to quickly share with you how the tech works. If you feel like, I don't care, Lori, it's not necessary for me right now. I'm on back-to-back calls. This is also your absolute opportunity to leave and go on with your day. But if you're curious on how that works, so whether you're speaking this time or next time, you already have a sense of what it's going to look like so you don't have to overthink the tech. When you're speaking, you guys, you get one link. How many links? One link. And that link is from StreamYard. StreamYard is a platform. It's not Zoom. It's a streaming platform. That's why we're able to share this on YouTube with other people. That's why this is freaking awesome and professional and not just join our Zoom room. All right? So you get one link. You're going to click on the link. It's not Zoom. It's StreamYard. When you click on that link, this is what you're going to see. All right? Right now, you don't see my camera because I'm with you. But normally you set up your camera, you allow access. Oh, there we are. We do see me. Hello, me. So I put my own name in. Lori Mobelis, that's my name. And I enter the studio. When I enter the studio, what you will see is you will see yourself here and you will see that you are like gray, just like here. So you're not on stage. What I am able to see is I am able to see all you guys here in the background, all gray. But that's because I have more access than you. You're only able to see yourself. Okay? What will happen is you will be added to the stage, which will look like this. And do you see that this now becomes blue? Do you see that this becomes blue here down below? That means that you're on the screen. That means that this is where you see yourself. You're like, oh, whoa, that is me, right? Oh shit, she put me there, right? So when you're here, you're just waiting. You either see this black, which you, by the way, can already access before the live stream goes live. You're able to see this and you're able to see you here down below. When you see yourself here down below, you know you did it perfectly. Now, next week, what's going to happen is that 30 minutes before we're going to start, we will already be in the back scene. That means that when you go here and you see it black, you might see my face. I'm like, you guys, you're in the right place. I'm right here. It's all good. And then we're going to go through some specific interesting stuff, which, for example, is what buttons you have here. You have a comment section, and that comment section is actually the comments that people put on the YouTube. So when your peers are watching and they're putting comments, you're actually able to see them coming in live. Just know there's a little delay. So what I would say is play with the audience, but no, don't wait for their response, because you will wait for 10 seconds, but then after the audience waits for 10 seconds. So know that that is happening, and know that we have a private chat. So if there's anything in the moment, just as like, oh my God, Lori, do you see me? I don't see you. Do you see me? Lori, what do you think of my background? You can put it there, and we're here for you. All right? What we're also going to do 30 minutes before we start is we're going to do a run through. So I'm going to say, okay, let's imagine, Naomi, you're the first speaker, which, by the way, you will get the order this week. All right? So I'm saying, okay, Naomi, it's the first speaker. I introduce you according to the bio that you all filled in your blueprint. So make sure you did that. All right? So in the speaking blueprint, the online document, in the first section, the aim, it says my bio. Make sure you fill stuff in there so I'm able to share it with the group. What will probably happen is I will use around 50% of what you share, because most of you want to sound really smart. And what I want for you is I want to convey you really smart and amazing. And sometimes it helps to lower the complexity in the bio and make it really easy and fun to share. Right? So just make sure that the elements of what you want to have it are in there. So I'm able, or who's ever introducing is able to do that with enthusiasm. So I'm able to share that bio, and we will practice what it's going to look like. So you're in the background here, I'm here, and I'm adding you to the stage, which I'm not able to do because you're not there now. But then you will see two things next to each other. So we'll see those two, and then we'll practice it. You will know that you tested your sound, you tested your view, so you know exactly what's in behind us. Some small tips that I'm able to share based on a viewpoint is, and Mari, feel free to add in whenever you feel like you have some tips, because Mari is like, this is your profession. But what helps is when you have a light source that lights your face that's in front of you. So it basically is your light, your camera, and then you. So the light comes from up front, and you make sure that you are lit up. You make sure that people can see you. Know that in this StreamYard, it's not possible to change the background. So be aware what is in your background and that it feels like it represents your brand. I'm not saying make sure it's absolutely slick, it's super white, and it looks like a dentist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying make sure that it feels like it represents your brand. And that's different for everybody. Just make sure that when you share it, you're like, you know, this is cool. This feels good. You're able to use an external mic. You're able to use an external mic, but you're also able to use your internal mic on your computer, and you're able to test that in that moment as well. Mari, are there any things that you feel like are really easy to implement and make a very big difference based on your experience?
I would say one thing, and I don't know if other people realize, but if you're in a room where there's no like a rug or nothing and it's hard walls and marble, whatever, the audio is going to echo a lot. It's going to be very hard, or, you know, try to find an area or record yourself and try to hear. Is your audio bouncing and it's making a lot of noise, hard for other people to hear? Because what you want is people to hear you, to understand the message you're giving, you know? That's really important in the audio.
And Mari, what is a
Another
very,
question.
very simple solution? Would it be, and I'm just like throwing stuff out there, would it be with people, what people already got in their house? Like put some cushions around you? Like what are the very practical, immediately implementable ideas with stuff that we already have around us to make that even better? Because we're talking about really detailed nuances over here, you guys, right? I don't want you to overthink these little details, but I want you to be able to do very easy stuff that's like, oh, that's like 10 seconds of work. And if that makes such a difference, I'm totally able to do that. So what would be an easy solution? Plans work for Luke. Other suggestions, Mari?
I would have to disagree with Luke, sorry.
You have the expert over here, you know. What do you got?
Okay, so for example, I have some pillows here. I'm under a rug. Can you find another room? If not, you know, can you try to find a room? Your bedroom has the cover, something, something that will muffle, that will not make the echo so strong. Try to do that. I'm sure there's something. Curtains are the best, rugs are the best. Or try to play with the room and figure out which one does not have so much echo.
Beautiful.
Can I ask, Mari, will a lapel mic that maybe has that little fuzzy head on it, would that help?
Could be, but also it, you know, also there's a lot of people that talk and they're going, oh yeah, you know that the mic is here. So your direction is going that way. The mic is not helping you if you're talking like this, you know,
Even if I'm talking about
intentional.
a lapel mic, something that's with you, that's right
It
near
could,
you.
I don't know, it depends. You know, sometimes I put lapel on people, they keep on they move the shirt or whatever. There's
Mhm.
so many details. I sent you a page, I think, a long time ago. If you want to, I can send it back to you, Lori.
You can
But
share any tip you have also in the WhatsApp group, because this is fun. This is your expertise. So it's really fun.
yeah.
You're able to share that in the group as well. And for everybody who's now like on overdrive, like what I want you to remember, there's how many links are there to click? One. There's one link. There's one link. And when you click on the link, you type in your name and you say enter. You're like, whoa, I did everything that I needed. I am so amazing. You come in 30 minutes before so you know you're on time with all your doubts. Like just throw all of them at us, all of them. And we're going to solve all of those in those 30 minutes. If you already want to check it out, the link will already be shared with you before. You will see black because it's not live, but you will be able to get in there and test it for yourself already. Now with the light, just make sure we see your face and it's not like dark, and it helps to have the source in front of you instead of behind you. And then regarding the audio, what I'm hearing, well, this is how my ears are hearing it. Okay, rock, don't have one. Okay, cushions, I got a bunch. I'm just gonna put cushions around me, and maybe it makes it like the next level of iteration, right? So every single time you're moving ahead and you're paying attention to more details, but the outer focus is your talk and your presence. It's not these tiny nuances because they won't make the biggest difference of all, right? I've seen people who have a very ugly light, very ugly sound, but they shine from their heart and they just completely crush it. And you can have all the tech perfectly in order, but when your story is not perfect or it's not like from a place of presence, it doesn't really matter. Last question because before we're zoning off, Adrian.
Yes, my question is just about eye contact. Like, should we be looking at the camera on our computer versus?
Yeah, so let's look at the difference. Now I'm talking to you guys. Now I'm actually staring at you, Irmak. This is kind of weird. And this is when I look in the camera. Which one of those do you think is better?
Yeah, second.
All right. So let's look at the camera. Carolyn, I saw a question for you. I know I said last question, but like I want you to have clarity as well. Carolyn?
I forgot it.
Perfect. Luke?
Hey, I shared with you the best practices of self-filming right there. If you want to look at it, I posted it for you guys.
Perfect. Super, Mari.
Just a very quick one. When writing your bio, instead of thinking I'm writing my bio for a job interview, think I'm writing my bio as if my best friend was introducing me to someone at a party.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, very good one. Just really think like some person is actually sharing this. Am I making it easy or hard for them to introduce me with enthusiasm? And we want to make it really easy. Carolyn, you remembered?
I forgot again.
I love it. So for every single one of you, you will be able to watch the replay of today. The WhatsApp is there to ask any questions. For anyone who still has their prep call for the Public Speaking Academy, make sure you record your video. You saw how Naomi used 1 minute to share, I'm not sure if I'm ready. And then she absolutely crushed it and she helped all of us to learn so much from a draft. So create that video, make sure you fill it in the form. You all have the form, just make sure you apply it. And Carolyn just remembered her question. Carolyn.
Oh my God, third time is charm. I'm looking at, when we have Zoom, we have our backgrounds. Can we do the same for this platform?
No, so it won't be possible to have a black background. Good
Got
question. And then for everybody who's watching, you also have one link. It will be shared in the WhatsApp group and through email. So next week, no Zoom, different link. You have one right link. If you don't get it, ask us in the WhatsApp group. When it's finished, we will come back to our Zoom. Okay? Irmak?
Sorry to ask you. So the recording should be 1 minute, and that should be definitely the same topic that we are gonna do in 4 weeks, or it can be different. And should it be ideally before or after the 101?
That's a good question. So what's going to happen is right before you go on stage, you will get the invitation to book a prep call with me. So in your case, that would be probably in 2 weeks. You will get an email to book the one-on-one. When you book the one-on-one, you create a video before. That video will be as a preparation for week 8. So it will be the same thing. And that will not be 1 minute, but around like 8 to 12 minutes.
Okay. Fantastic.
You're
Yes.
right on track, girl.
Yes. I'm catching up.
You are. I love it. I love all of you, you guys. Like, we are like abundant on time today. It's so freaking cool. Like, you were just all zoning in. I'm like, I have the best life ever. Like, right now, we're with 13 people on 8-week journey to create what I find most meaningful ever. Like, what you're doing is you're transforming your life experience to gold for someone else. So other people are learning from it. So other people are able to buy what you have, which they should all do, because look how amazing you are. But not just that, who feels that they're growing as a person, who feels that they're leaning into a next level courageousness, a next level version of authenticity, whatever that means, because it's still like, what does it really mean, right? You share more personal stuff, and you start to see that that's actually what people relate to. You start to ask questions that might feel uncomfortable. You're leaning into the non-perfectionism of yourself. You start to just do instead of just think about it. Like, it's so profound what you are doing, and I feel so honored and blessed that I'm able to spend this time with you. And I really mean that. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. And I'm so proud of all of you. So proud of all of you. And I'm so excited to celebrate you next week. You're absolutely crushing it, and kudos to you. So if you have any questions in the meantime, we really are here for you in the WhatsApp group. Just ask. We got your back. This group got your back, and you got your back. All right? All right, you guys. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.